Hello Blazers, it is your boy Roman, your favorite neighborhood Russian, and in today's video guys we're gonna be talking about something pretty interesting that has been affecting my life for like 6 years straight now. Actually, it's not been affecting just my life, but the life of every single Russian citizen out there, and it's actually so closely connected to the topic of Russian-Western relations, but most foreigners actually have no idea about it. Yes guys, today we're gonna be talking about the Russian ban on Western foods from Europe and America and other countries of the Western world. Yes, that's the thing if you guys were not aware. Now guys, I want to start out with a little bit of a story, okay? Recently I went to Rome, Italy for a little vacation or whatever, like last month. And obviously guys, everybody knows that Italy is famous for its crazy amazing food, you know. Absolutely, and being a good tourist, I had to buy some stuff for my family to bring back home to Russia for them to have a try, to have a taste, right? So I bought a bunch of Italian Parmesan cheese to bring back home, and also I bought this, which is some black truffle sauce made in Italy. Here's the thing though guys, I could not buy this in Russia because this is actually banned contrafact product in Russia. This stuff is almost outlawed in Russia. You cannot buy it in Russia, it cannot be sold at any convenience store, it also cannot be imported into Russia. And you know guys, I've just assumed that a lot of Europeans actually know about this, the fact that you cannot bring a lot of the Western foods in European foods into Russia. So I made a tweet about it saying how I'm eating banned truffle sauce sitting here in Russia and I'm like, you know, living the thug life or whatever. And I got a whole bunch of responses to that tweet saying, dude, what do you mean? Why is this truffle sauce illegal in Russia? Well guys, that is actually exactly what I'm gonna be talking about today with you. So let's start with a bit of history. How did this happen? Why? Why did Russia just suddenly decide to ban European products in the country? Basically, all of this started in 2014 during the Crimea and Ukrainian crisis. And you guys probably already understand where this is going, right? The country of Ukraine has undergone a revolution and the government was changed for a more pro-European, pro-Western governments. And at the same time, there's been a huge nationalist uprising in Ukraine, and there's been a whole bunch of national conflicts in there. And you guys probably should know what happened next. What happened next is that Russia basically annexed the region of Crimea from Ukraine. And what happened next was even worse, is that in eastern Ukraine, which is predominantly actually populated by Russians, there's been a bunch of movements that opposed the new Ukrainian governments, and also those movements received backing from the Russian Federation. Apparently military aid, vehicles, guns, etc. were sent there to help fight the Ukrainian troops. Even though Russia denies being involved completely, there's a lot of evidence that shows that Russia actually was involved. And so, you know, long story short, everybody just liked that, right? So, for all of this stuff, in order to oppose Russia and sort of punish it, the European Union and the United States have joined together and implemented a bunch of sanctions against the Russian Federation. The sanctions were pretty harsh. They were mainly aimed at huge oil companies, a ton of governmental workers in Russia, huge executives in these oil companies, etc. had their visas revoked. A lot of their finances that were held in European banks were frozen. Huge Russian banks were also sanctioned, and basically as a result of all of this, huge things happened. The sanctions basically ruined Russia's investment potential or whatever. I'm no economist, so the way I describe this is not very accurate, but basically as a result, what happened is that the Russian economy basically collapsed on itself. We ended up being in a crisis, and actually the Russian ruble has fallen 2 times in its worth. It was a very scary time. People were rushing into stores and buying like tech products and everything because people were scared that they're gonna lose everything. So there you go. The US and Europe, Canada, Australia, other countries of the Western world or whatever, of NATO, imposed their sanctions on Russia as a form of punishment for all the Crimea and Ukraine stuff. And well, what the Russian government did in response is that they decided to shoot themselves in the foot and ruin the lives for even more Russians. Mr. Vladimir Putin has come up with an idea that we need to actually return and give them what they deserve, you know, pay them back, and impose our own sanctions on Europe, America, Australia, Canada, etc. But the thing is though, since Russia is not the most technologically developed country in the world, not is it the most economically advanced country in the world, right? We cannot really hurt the European economy or the American economy, right? So all we can do is just essentially ban European foods and American food from being sold in Russia. And that's what they did. And so the idea was that, hey guys, let's do an epic troll. We're going to basically not allow them to import their food, and they're gonna lose that stream of revenue now. They're not gonna make money on us buying their food, and we're gonna grow our own food. So we're not gonna buy apples from Poland anymore, we're just gonna buy apples from Russia. You know, they do have those, you know, great types of cheese for like Parmesan in Italy and stuff like that. Well, we're gonna make our own. We're gonna make our own mozzarella and our own Parmesan. And that's what they did. And that's why I bought Parmesan in Italy to bring to my family, because my family has never had real Parmesan before. This is how sad this is. Now guys, let me read you through the list of all the food products from Europe and America that you can no longer import into Russia or get in Russia. So we have all kinds of meats, beef, pork, etc. Chickens, any kind of cured meats, so prosciutto from Italy, no more of that. Any kind of fish, so no fish from Norway for us, that is a big deal. No milk, no vegetables, no fruits, no nuts, no cheese or any other dairy products, and also no salt for some reason. So all of those food products you cannot get if they come from these countries: the United States of America, all of the countries of the European Union, Canada, Australia, Norway, Ukraine, of course, Albania, Montenegro, Iceland, and Liechtenstein. I thought Montenegro was like Slavic Brotherhood or whatever, but okay. So we can get stuff from Serbia, but we can't get stuff from Montenegro. That's interesting. So, you know, whatever, it's cool, right? But here's the problem though. The problem is that the way this was done is a fucking joke. Let me guys just show you a couple of clips here.
Russia has stepped up its war against Western food by destroying tons more foodstuffs since the campaign began last week. Russian authorities destroyed more than 100 tons of banned food on the first day of the order to get rid of the sanctioned food. However, food burning and pressing continued in subsequent days across the country. More than 39 tons of fruit were destroyed in the western Pskov region near the Latvian border. Fruit and vegetables were also pressed to the ground by bulldozers in the Leningrad region near St. Petersburg.
Yep, this is real footage. This is not a joke, this is not a sketch, this is real footage. This is Russians, after the ban was implemented, destroying foods from Europe because they're banned now. They're not gonna give it out to the poor, they're not gonna give it out to the starving people. They're gonna run over it with bulldozers and tractors. This makes me fucking angry. I'm not even joking. What is this? Why? Why would you do this, okay? I understand that this is now like fruit from the enemies of the states, you know? But like, what's the point of destroying perfectly good food, fruits, cheese? And the thing is that this was not even like a one-time occurrence, okay? This is not like something that was brought over here, or it's like foods from Europe that was still left in the store shelves and they decided to just destroy it, you know, to show how cool we are, and, you know, Russia, epic, nationalism, Russian nationalism, we can grow our own food, right? No, the thing is that this is still being done to this day. In case if any sort of European foods actually make it to the Russian border, what happens is that if they identify it as a European food or whatever, what they do is that instead of sending the food back or maybe, you know, not selling it or just giving it out to the poor, because it's perfectly fine food. Matter of fact, it's better food than what we have, okay? The Parmesan and mozzarella we make in Russia is fucking dog shit compared to actual Parmesan and mozzarella that you get in Italy, you know what I mean? We have these supplement products now that are made in Russia, but they're nowhere as near as good as in quality as the real deal that is actually has been made in Europe for centuries now, okay? But like I said, if stuff like this makes it over here, they destroy it with bulldozers. But the thing is that this is still going on, and it's still happening today, and it's been going on for years now, because apparently according to the data, since 2014, over 30,000 tons of perfectly fine food, this includes meats, vegetables, cheese, dairy products, all of those kinds of stuff, over 40,000 tons of foreign European foods have been destroyed in Russia. Not sold, not fed to the poor that could have used it, destroyed, turned into shit. because that's the national policy. Vladimir Putin actually even defended it. He was asked about it and he said that it's important to defend our local producers and promote our local production and our local vegetables and our local cheese and stuff like that by destroying European food. Instead of giving it out to the poor and using it in a worthwhile way, yeah, let's just destroy it. To say, screw you West, screw you Westerners. I'm basically going to shoot myself in the foot and make my own people starve for an epic win. Just to epically own the Europeans. Thank you, Putin. Best president of all fucking time. It's legitimately sad and funny at the same time for me because the sanctions that the West implemented against Russia, not only they were completely righteous because Russia acted like a complete ass and stole another country's land, but the Western sanctions, they actually worked. They destroyed our economy, you know, like our currency has become half of what it used to be worth. And we entered a financial crisis in the country that we're just barely getting over now. But the funniest thing is that these response sanctions that Putin created against the West, against Europeans, you know, we're not gonna buy your food anymore, we're gonna grow our own food, you know. All these response sanctions to the West did is that it ruined the lives of Russians. It did not ruin the lives of anybody in the West. Maybe it did ruin a couple of companies that, you know, like in Poland that sold apples specifically to Russia. But for the majority of Russians, not only do we get less food now and we have less diversity and less availability of all types of food in our markets, but also do we get worse quality products made in Russia as a replacement, right? And I'm specifically talking about stuff like cheese here because Russian vegetables and Russian fruits are like fine, you know? And I also love it, by the way. We're not gonna buy apples from Poland, but we are going to buy apples from China. That we're gonna do. But Poland, screw you guys. So yeah, as a result of these sanctions that were meant to epically own the Europeans and Americans, we just have less food variety now in our supermarkets, and we're also destroying food that could have been eaten by perfectly fine people that actually need it. A very epic. You owned Europeans for sure. It's literally shooting yourself in your own food in order to epically own the Europeans. That's all it was. And that's why I have to bring Parmesan from Italy to my family now. Because you cannot get it otherwise. So yeah guys, I hope now you do understand what I'm talking about. I hope you guys now understand this concept of why Russia doesn't have foreign goods. So yeah guys, I hope this gave you some more new information, something interesting. I hope you guys did learn something new today, because it seems like a lot of Westerners and foreigners don't know a thing about the Russian European food ban or whatever, because I got so many questions about it and nobody actually seemed to know why I have to buy Parmesan in Italy to, you know, get the real stuff. Why can't I just go to the store and buy Italian cheese? Because I can't, right? So yeah guys, please donate cheese to No Fuckers Bangers. We're really starving out here in Russia with no Parmesan. It's really sad. But on a serious note though guys, thank you guys so much for watching this video today. If you guys did enjoy it, please make sure to slap the like button on it. And as well guys, if you want to support my channel, make sure to go over down in the description to my Patreon link, donate to it. I would gladly appreciate it. It actually helps me out a lot. And once again guys, thank you so much for watching this video today, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.